30 minutes? Okay.
Sure.
What time do we want to start those interviews on August 20th? Do we want to start them at 4? Do we want to start them later? It doesn't matter to me, I'm just asking.
4 o'clock works for me. I mean, all day works for me.
When we brought it up, I know Commissioner Moore said 4 would work for him as well.
Except we have the water plant tour down in Monroe. Do we know if that's going to be in the morning?
It's, yeah, 10 o'clock.
For sure, it's 10 o'clock. Okay. That's what I have. I just want to be sure. So, yeah, we'll have plenty of time. 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock work for everybody? So Heather, if we do 30 minutes, what's standard, like 5 minutes between to give us time to adjust to the next person or take a bathroom break, or?
Yep, I would say 5 minutes.
So do you feel good about scheduling those out starting at 4 and then, so basically like 4:35, we'd have another one and then, I can't do the math right now, my brain.
Well, so
5.
on the 20th, you would only have 2.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah,
No,
sorry.
we'd have 3. We'd have 3. We'd have 3. I had to think for a minute. Yeah, we'd have 3.
So, yeah, I would schedule according to, I mean, I can schedule in any particular order. If you have a particular order that you want, that's fine.
And maybe not to take away from someone's interview, maybe start theirs at 4:05, the first one that you schedule, because I do have to do roll call and the Pledge of Allegiance and all of that, so I don't want to take away from their time.
Yeah, that's fine. And then, I guess, would you like me to reach out to the 4th candidate, the person that's not available on the 20th, and set up a time that's convenient for them, or did you want to set a different date and say if they're available?
Madam Mayor, when we set the agenda, I think we made exception to make sure Commissioner Banky would be here. So is that something?
I think we did it from Commissioner Moore.
Well, I know about
Yeah.
today's, but I think when we were talking about when he would be able to be back and not. I don't care either way, but I'm just wondering if it can't be that day, do we want to give him a chance or not? Because I think it's important to fill it as quickly as we can.
I didn't know what to do, I'm not gonna lie. When I got the email that said that he wasn't available and, had been planned, I was really caught. I didn't know what we should do, to be honest with you. And I was kind of curious to hear what everybody else thought, because
I'm okay with moving on without him.
yeah,
I mean, if we want to schedule another one, but that means a whole nother day.
that's what I was concerned with, but
But I'm okay with moving on without him, unfortunately.
It's up to you. If I liked all the candidates. I really did. I
Yes.
researched them, loved them, but they were all very promising.
would you like Commissioner Cheshire to interview all of them?
I mean, I'm okay either way. If we wanted to get this, when would we have the availability to do another interview? Like,
I don't know, and I don't know how long he's gone. Do you even have any idea?
He's going to be gone through the weekend, so he would be back the following Monday.
Just for full transparency, I plan on being on vacation all next week and not being in town. So I can interview him if you want, but I don't plan on being here.
I think you should be here for the interviews.
Yeah, I won't be here.
yeah, I agree. I think it's really important that that all the commissioners that can be here are present for the interviews. So if that's an extra week, I'd rather not move forward with it.
Yeah. That's how I feel, because then we're really delaying it even more. Okay, so we're going to proceed, Heather, with the 3 that can make it. And on August 20th at 4 p.m., we'll start the meeting. Just a reminder as well to Heather that if you have any changes of the draft list of questions that she just sent this afternoon. It was just a little bit before this meeting. There was a draft list of questions. If you have any additions or anything to add to that, let her know. When would you like those by?
I mean, it's, the day before is fine, the Wednesday before is fine.
All right, so by Wednesday. Let's say Wednesday at noon so you're not as stressed. How's that? So we'll do Wednesday at noon if you do have any changes or anything to add to those questions. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. You don't, do you need anything else from us, Heather?
Nope, just unless you wanted to do a second round of interviews, at that point, we would need to nail down a date for that. I know some interest was expressed about that, so.
It's probably gonna depend on what happens though on Thursday. That's how I feel, at least. That's my
Can we
opinion.
make room in our schedule to discuss second interviews on Thursday after
Yeah.
the first round of interviews? Is that something that?
That's fine.
Okay.
I would also like a resolution on the book, since it's a special meeting, to hire an interim that night. So we would have a resolution available in case we do choose to just hire someone that night, which would be my preference.
Yeah, and then if we don't, if we want to do the second round or we need time to think, we can always table it.
Gives us the option.
Correct.
Yeah.
If all members are here, even if it was a special meeting, do we have to have it then? Because if everybody's here.
But Commissioner Benke would not be a part of that vote. He'd be here interviewing only. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense. Thank you.
So that's why it'd be better to be able just to table it, because we can do that if it's already there. All right. Well, great. Thank you, everyone. We're going to move on. I'm going to turn it over first for the water update to our Utilities Director and Acting City Administrator Will Sadler, but I know also that Commissioner Vinke and Commissioner Roberts are going to add to this water update as well, as they went this past Wednesday, and attended a Lake Erie Waterkeepers event and learned a lot, and it brought back a lot of knowledge as well. But we're also just going to get that update from our Utilities Director, so I'll turn it over to you first, Will.
Okay, yeah, really my update has to do more with the estimated cost of the options that I presented, a month and a half ago. So you've got ozone, advanced oxidation, and there's different types of ozone depending on what kind of level you want to do. And then I guess the Cadillac option would be the reverse osmosis. So the cost for the ozone or advanced oxidation, depending on which variation you use, is going to be between $6.5 and $8 million, which it's very doable for us, even in a worst case scenario. If we had to do it, go through the state revolving fund, low interest loan. We've done projects like this before in this price range, so it would not be a tremendous cost to the residents. It would just be funded over a period of 20 or 30 years, however we decided to do it. So I think that'd be any of those options would be great.
Can you give us an idea of what that translates to for a cost for a resident passing?
No.
I just wondered if you had.
Maybe next time I could.
All right, sorry.
A couple bucks a month probably over a course of 20 years.
Oh,
There you go. She's got it figured out. The RO was a little bit more, I think.
hold on one second.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to be sure though. So we're going to Monroe, the city of Monroe, and is there a different city that was listed on that request?
Oregon is what they talked about.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misread it then today. They use the one you just spoke about, the
Yes,
ozone
right.
oxidation.
Correct.
Yep, that
They
one.
do. They use advanced oxidation.
Advanced oxidation.
I believe that is correct, yes.
Okay, and in our previous report from 2019 or 18, it pulled out that it's 99% removal of the MIB and the geosmin, and it's also about $12,000 to $13,000 per year cost. Do you think that's correct?
those costs would probably go
Well,
up. So the operation, these costs, so for the advanced oxidation, the estimate now is about $7 million.
right,
That does not include the annual operating and maintenance costs. So that's going to go up a little bit, just like everything has. So, but it could also save us some money on some other things, just because the
Okay.
treatment method is going to change somewhat. So it's all going to be a chemical kind of thing. But those are all things that we can get answers to before we make a decision
okay.
on what to
And
do.
in the Tetra Tech, TerraTech study, I mean, they said it was 99% removal of the algae that's causing the taste and odor. And Monroe has had this
Yeah,
success.
Yeah, Monroe's had this treatment for a long time. So Monroe actually is the oldest continuously operated water treatment plant in the state. They've been there since 1924 and haven't moved. They've upgraded multiple times, including the oxidation treatment method. So they've used this for a long time, and their taste and odor complaints, they say, are few and far between. So it is a proven technology. We would still have to go through a pilot study, which essentially is bring in a small version of the treatment and just run the water through there and test. But it would have to be done at a certain time of year because, as we know, the taste and odor is really bad in the spring and really bad in the fall. So we would have to time it right, and we would have to hope for a crappy lake, even though we don't want to do that. But you'd want that because you want to get good data. So yeah, the reverse osmosis, that's $25 million plus. So that's really reaching out there. As you mentioned, we are going to go visit the city of Monroe, their water treatment plant. There was a pretty good infographic on the Waterkeepers site that kind of compared our treatment method to Monroe, and I think it was either Oregon or Toledo. And it's just, they're very similar, it's just the filtration is a little bit different and where they put this in the process. The only thing that was really missing on that infographic that I can think of was it didn't take into consideration that we have something that they don't have, and that's well water. So we use, at least 50% of our water is well water, which does not have the organics that the surface water does. So that's really the only difference, but it's a very good infograph, or whatever you want to call it, to kind of show you how those treatment processes compare to each other. So I think any of these that we choose down the road would be a very good option.
When we look at this, so we have the water that's coming from the wells, that will then go into the plant, and then the water from the lake will be drawn into the ozone process.
Yep.
And then mix with the water from the wells.
Correct. And that where that happens in the plant would be determined. I'm not exactly sure because at some point they have to get chlorinated together. So yeah, so right now that's how it works. We get water coming in from the wells, water coming in from the lakes, they blend together, run it through the treatment process. This would be a little bit different. The well water would stay separate. This step would be an extra step, go through there, then combine, and then go through the process. So yeah.
What are you looking at for the time frame of applying if we were to do that, advanced oxidation?
Whatever we choose, if we want to consider, obviously, the best thing to do would be apply for grants, but we all know that those are very competitive and they're hit and miss. So we don't want to just sit around and wait. So if we want to go through the low interest loan procedure, we would have to complete what's called a notice of intent by November 1st, which is a very simple questionnaire of what do you want to do and how are you going to fund it. So that's pretty simple. So we can get that turned in by November 1st. So we would just say, hey, we're looking at upgrading our water treatment plant. This is why. This is what we're looking at. We'll throw a number at it. If the number is 6, I'll throw it at 8, just to inflate it a little bit. And then the next step after that is we would have a meeting with the folks at Eagle to get a better idea of what we're looking at. And then it's either May 1st or June 1st, because the dates are different. One is clean water and one is drinking water. There's a deadline to submit a project plan. So we would have to bring someone on board to write a project plan for us. And that would be not a full-blown engineered study, but a pretty in-depth study on what we want to do, how much it's going to cost, what are the other options, why we're going this way. So that would be due by, I believe it's June 1st. And then at some point, and this is where I got to get some answers on whether or not, one, do we have to have a pilot study? And if we do we have to do that before we submit a project plan, which would mean we'd have to do it next spring, just to kind of keep the ball rolling. I would guess a pilot study is probably going to be $400,000. So we'd have to find a way to fund that, which, you know, we can look at rates and make some adjustments on rates if we have to. But let's say that's best case scenario. But again, you're kind of putting the cart before the horse because you may not score high enough because it's a scoring matrix. And even the SRF projects are very competitive. We've scored very well lately, so that's good. So if we do score well, then they'll make a decision probably late summer or early fall of next year. And that's when the real work starts. That's when we start design, and we'll have probably about 8 to 9 months to do design work and get everything turned in for construction to start in 2028. So that is a pretty tight schedule, and it will be a lot to get that, to have that happen. But
Do you have the emerging threats that Eagle has, the $10 million in grants that's out there, is obviously that's even super competitive, more competitive throughout the state, but would that pay for piloting potentially?
I asked for it. We have not heard back yet. I don't know if they've actually gotten together to meet to discuss who's asking for what, but we did ask for that to see if it would cover pilot testing. It's a $10 million fund with the state of Michigan for what they call emerging contaminants, and algae is considered one. So it is an option to use that. Yep.
And then talking about the fifth well.
We asked for that too.
Okay, so that was part of.
We just threw a bunch of stuff at it
Okay.
and said, take this back to your boss and let us know. We'll take it all.
Okay. And within the timeline for that, I'm assuming that's a completely different project scope and plan compared to oxidation, but maybe quicker since we have
The well?
established wells.
Oh yeah, that would be super good. We've already started the work on that. We're still waiting to hear back from Eagle on whether or not they're even going to allow it, but we're well underway on that one.
So what are you thinking if they said yes? Like how fast?
For a fifth well, now just remember that just because we get a fifth well doesn't mean we can use that
No,
fifth
but
well.
you have one for a backup, right?
You're probably still talking, drilling a well and getting the pipe, it doesn't take long, it's just the planning of it, so 8 to 12 months. And then I had a meeting with some old friends and talked groundwater, so they've given me a few things to look into, so we can kind of do that at the same time, kind of take two different paths. We're not going to get rid of the lake, we just have to face that we're going to have that lake, and so we need to figure out how to treat that better, but we also, if there's groundwater out there somewhere, we need to go try to find it, as long as it's close by.
Well, at the open house, there was a lady, and I'm sorry I didn't write her name down, but was willing, she was a grant writer, and was willing to help the city, and she offered her services. I wondered, did we reach out to her?
She did email us. I have not had a chance to email her back, but I will. It's definitely worth any help we can get, yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything that we could find that could also help, that could behoove us to do something.
Absolutely.
And I contacted our contacts through MML, Michigan Municipal League, and asked them about the next state appropriations budget, earmarks, essentially, for lack of a better word. And she gave me the list of who received funding for water concerns in their areas, very small projects. But I spoke with 2 out of the 3 who received. One was clearly just lead line replacement. That's all they were doing. It was just lead line. It was, which we already are doing. So I didn't reach out to that mayor and administrator. The other one that received the most amount of money was that they were required by Eagle to move their wells because they were being contaminated by an old gas station. So it was a requirement by Eagle, not that they wanted to, not that they wanted to spend any money on this, but it's been an ongoing thing for them for the last 7 to 15 years. They said they started about 7 to 15 years fixing their water issues. So that's why they got money. Another one was 140 houses in this tiny little village and had done nothing for 60 years, failing infrastructure, broken fire hydrants, all kinds of things. And they were able to get funding to bring their water up to par. So yes, people are getting funding through the state budget. It would be a huge challenge, but both of the people, the mayors and the superintendent I spoke with, both reiterated that it really was key in getting their state representatives on board. So if we do decide to ask for funding, we need to get our state reps in here. We would need you guys to be contacting our state reps saying, we need this, we need this, we need this. Because that's what both of them said, that's how they got the money.
Yeah, several years ago, I did actually submit 3 different projects through that Congressional Direct Spending Program. One was for an RO plant, one was for service line replacements, and then one was at the wastewater plant. 2 of them died right away. One of them, and I can't remember which one, kind of made it to the next step, but then kind of fizzled off. So that was, I think, 2021 or 2022.
So it's still an option if we
Yep.
want to, if we can put something together, we can ask Representative Jenkins and Galeno next year to put it in next year's budget.
This is a massive amount of work. Is this something that, I don't know, would a water ad hoc committee be the move to help with as much labor and activity that we're gonna have to pursue here with grants and contacting state reps and organizing these kinds of things? Is that something that we should look into and support and get community involvement?
Potentially. I mean, it is a lot of work. I mean, the technical side of it can be handled obviously by us. I'm not a people person, in case you haven't noticed, so I'm not always the first one to jump out there and just start talking to people, so I could use some help on that, for sure.
I agree with Commissioner Zink that, I mean, we have some knowledgeable people, and we've had people that have volunteered, and we don't have to have a huge group, but just somebody to help us and guide us that's been doing some research, some studies, and some talking, just to help us through. I think that would be a valuable option to look at, even if it doesn't help anything. I don't see how it could slow it down or hurt anything.
And that's why I've asked a few times and brought it up. And that was why I just wanted a water update tonight, just so that we had an update at least to give people, so it wasn't looking like we just had a town hall and then ignored everything, but it's just been that process of figuring out and waiting to get numbers back and things like that. But that's why I asked Will if he thought he was ready to give a water update, and he said yes. But yeah, I agree. I know that Denise was a great grant writer. That is one of them that was at the water town hall, and there's been some other ones. And I know Will talks to a few people quite often that are in the community that that have a lot of great ideas and have a lot of knowledge as well. But I think it's definitely something to possibly be looking at, to have just to help, just so that it's not so much on one person. And
Can somebody remind me the process of how we start putting together a water ad hoc committee?
well, we bring it forth as like a resolution,
Mhm.
and it'll be determined like how many commissioners, or if you want any, or how many would sit on there, what city staff would sit on it, and then how many people are on it. And this is one where we may want to look at, I'm just throwing this out there, I know there's some people that have a lot of knowledge that necessarily might not be city residents, and sometimes, you know, we have on certain ad hoc, it said they don't have to be a city resident as long as they have an interest in it. So that is something we could look at. It doesn't mean it they have to be, but that's up to what we decide. And I would lean to that they don't have to be if they have that water interest and that knowledge.
And you, in your capacity, have the right to appoint people to that committee, correct?
Yes, but we would probably,
We could set parameters.
we'd
but-
put out, yes, exactly. We want to put it out there. I wouldn't want to just pick and choose, like, we don't want to do that.
I
I would
wasn't
like to
asking
be
you to
open.
do
Yeah,
that.
please don't do that. Yeah, we would want to put it out there and see who's even interested, because the thing is, there might be people that we think will be great, and they're just not interested. Either they lack the time, or that's just not what they want to do, so.
A goal that I have, and I'm not saying anything, but I think we need to make it so that our community as a whole are satisfied with it. And it's an analogy I'm thinking of. You could say, I own a restaurant, come on in, our food is safe, but it doesn't taste good and it really doesn't smell good, but you're not going to get food poisoning from it. And when we're trying to attract people to come to the city of Adrian, do we want to say, we've had a problem, we focused on it, we fixed it, and we're going, and we can grow from there. So I think the goal has to be that we have it, that it's not seasonal, it's fixed, it's done, and we're moving forward, and it can be a positive, that we show reaction for the community for what they've asked for.
The one thing I think, though, if we did this, the ad hoc committee, that I do think is just, it does need direction. So like, what I mean by that is like, what are the goals? Like, it's not just to keep trying to find other things, like maybe narrow, you know, like have this direction of what's feasible, what can actually be done, how are we going to achieve that, and having those set goals, instead of just, well, I have an idea, you know what I mean? But like focusing and bringing that, focusing based off of what Will has already presented and what is possible.
Because I think the Tetra Tech study is our plan, and we have to choose which option as a result of that. So I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel on those pieces. And then I think, you know, the integration of Eagle and their ability to provide some input, at least with, you know, the other like water systems becomes important, because, you know, mixing groundwater and lake water is very few municipalities that do that. So that's an important piece to play in there. And I'm not sure, I know Commissioner Roberts snagged the ecologist, and I snagged the biologist at the Lake Erie water testing. So there's little different perspectives in terms of the research behind that I think will be important to play how that goes out. And then the bigger piece of, we have Lake Adrian, and if we're just treating the water, we're not fixing the issue with the amount of phosphorus and nitrogen that's going into the tributaries, and then ultimately into that lake, that lead to harmful algae blooms. So that becomes a third piece that I think the water keepers in Lake Erie have been lobbying their state level very well. And we saw kind of the example of where Indiana put in harsher restrictions on how big these massive cattle farms can be. So they can only have 300 cattle within these massive farms before they need to be certified. In Ohio and Michigan, you can have 1,000. And what they found was that when they instituted that into Indiana, those large CAFOs, as they're called, they moved to where? They moved to Michigan, and they moved to Ohio at greater numbers. So now there's more of them in the state here, and if Ohio were to enact something, there would probably be movement into Michigan on top of other things with covering manure, so it's, you know, not open for 180 days, which it can be in Michigan. So there were all sorts of recommendations around there, because every time it rains, and especially this week, that runoff is going into the lake, and as that's there, that's when the algae blooms start. And then once they consume the phosphorus and the nitrogen, that's when the cyanotoxins begin to emerge.
And I do want to thank Commissioner Banky, because he did send that to everybody for us to read, so that we had time to prepare. And I agreed. I was absolutely astounded the difference that you can have in Michigan and Ohio than what you could have in Indiana, and how that contributes to everything that's really going on. And as a local government, I don't see how we can control that, but we should influence in our state legislatures, our county, and things like that about how do we get this moving so we eliminate this, because if it keeps growing, say Ohio does it before we do, we're going to get more farms up in our area.
And, you know, one of the things that they mentioned was that Lake Erie has seen some improvement, and I'm not sure if we can say the same about Lake Erie or Lake Adrian with our runoffs and the amount of increase manure that's going into tributaries through either the tile system or other means.
Is this something then, speaking of, you know, the ad hoc committee, that we would like to see put forth to move forward for the next meeting?
I would like to see an ad hoc committee with goals, SMART goals, what we used to call them, you know, specific, measurable, timely, where we're at, so that we know. I don't want to just say, okay, what's our mission here? Let's set up the goals, let's set up what are we trying to do, what are we trying to learn from you, and how can we make this process efficient, timely, and effective.
Is that something we can establish in the next meeting and discuss?
I think so, as a discussion. Yes. And, you know, and then we'd have just to think about before that meeting is, you know, do you want one, do you want two commissioners, do you want no commissioner, you know, like who do you want sitting on there? I think it's always good to have at least one in the room, just to come back and report. I mean, I know Will would be there, but still, it's still good to have that voice as well. But start thinking about the makeup of that group as well. All right? Okay. Moving on to our consent agenda. May I get a motion to adopt our consent agenda?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Banky with a second from Commissioner Roberts. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Banky,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeig.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Under special orders in our regular agenda, we have Special Order -1. It's a public hearing to hear and consider comments regarding the obsolete property tax rehabilitation exemption certificate application for 122 South Main Street, LLC. I now call this public hearing open. Anyone wishing to speak at this public hearing may approach the microphone in the chambers or speak on Zoom.
Melissa Jonas, City of Adrian. Good evening, mayors and members of the commission. I am here tonight as a downtown Adrian resident and building owner who cares deeply about the future of the downtown. I want to voice my strong support for the Okra application for 122 South Main Street. Like many of you, I choose to live here because of Adrian's historic character, but historic buildings require real investment to survive. Right now, 122 South Main Street is underutilized and functionally obsolete. It is a beautiful piece of our downtown's history that is currently being quiet when it should be contributing to the energy and economic health me most about this project is what it brings to the community. First, it creates a proposed new restaurant, arcade, and bar on the ground floor. We all want more dining opportunities downtown, places where we can gather with friends and family, and places that will draw visitors from outside Adrian to spend money in our local economy. Second, it adds 4 upper story apartments. As a resident, I see the demand for high-quality housing in our city center. Bringing more people to live downtown is the single best way to support our existing small businesses. People living downtown mean more foot traffic for our coffee shops, our retail stores, and our weekend bits. It turns downtown into a 24/7 neighborhood, not just a place where people come during business hours. I understand that tools like Oprah involve a temporary tax freeze on improvements, but as a taxpayer, I view this as a win-win. We aren't losing any existing tax revenue. Instead, we are simply deferring the revenue on the improvements. This provides the developer the financial viability they need to take on the massive, unpredictable risks of renovating a historic building. Without incentives like this, these old buildings often sit vacant until they deteriorate past the point of saving, and then the community loses them forever. This application is a smart, responsible way to use a proven state economic development tool to unlock private investment right here in Adrian. I want to see Adrian thrive, and I want to see our historic spaces preserved and filled with life. This project does exactly that, so I ask the Commission to approve the Oprah application for 122 South Main Street. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ernest Thomas, United States citizen. One, the city ordinance of not being in parks after midnight, whatever.
This is just in relation to this, you can do that after, yes. I now call this public hearing closed. Moving on to our resolutions. Resolution R26-068 is from the assessor. It is a resolution to approve an Oprah exemption certificate for 122 South Main Street LLC. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
Are there any commissioner comments or discussion on this resolution? We have a resolution, we have a motion from Commissioner Binky with a second from Commissioner Zeig. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeig,
Yes.
Commissioner Binky.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution R26-069 is from administration. It is a resolution to select a company for strategic and parks planning services. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution? Do we-
Discussion first.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, or if we just had a motion and then we come in to amend it with whoever we decide, how should we proceed with this one, City Attorney? Clerk?
Sarah.
Yes, Larry. Okay, let's have the discussion now. Go for it. Before we take a motion, we'll have the discussion.
All right, I'll throw some things out there. Observations. Can't say I have any, looking over vertical strategies, so their proposal, and then as I dug into their website, I saw most of their work, if not all. I struggled to find any municipality that they had done a strategic plan for. So that kind of at least raised some concern as to how do we take the difference between strategic plan for hospital system and what's happening here in Adrian. McKenna, the issue I had with them, I like the fact that we have a current relationship with them. I like the parks plan that they shared in the model that they had. I had to dig a little bit deeper in terms of the strategic planning for that, and they had more of a master plan. And staff would be able to, you know, make the adjustment in terms of a strategic plan, but it was just one of those things that I wanted to like grab onto an actual completed strategic plan to look at and see.
I will say one thing to that, from working with McKenna on the DDA for the TIF, and that plan and working through with them, they were really great to work with when it came to that and really giving you concrete things. I'm not really sure why it wasn't in here as well, but they were really good with that, just to let you know.
Gotcha. And I did like the scope of the folks that they had assigned to the project, multiple layers and specialists as well. Double Hall, you know, the one I looked at there was Berkeley. Their strategic framework was very solid, and I know from kind of the Google world that they're doing work with DeWitt and Muskegon now as well, in addition to the Beckett and Rader work. So they would be fragmented, where Double Hall is doing the strategic planning piece, but Beckett and Rader would be doing the parks piece. Constantina Consulting. This one I had a concern because it's a newer company, and I was trying to follow the names through the process here. And they mentioned two individuals that were kind of like assigned to the project. There was a Nancy and Pam, but and they made reference to the city of Ludington's plan. And I really liked, it was a lofty plan, and they had some community things, and then they had internal factors that they were working on as part of that Ludington plan. But I couldn't find Nancy or Pam's name on the acknowledgments of that. So I'm not sure if they were support staff of that or how that works out there. The other concern I had with that piece was there was a Parks and Rec component, but they specifically said that the specialist was not named at this time for that piece. And then Manick and Smith, obviously we heard about that today being the parks only piece. And then the reality. So our current line item for consultants is $50,000. So these all except Constantina are well above $50,000. So we would then need to figure out, is this something that we want to go 50% over budget, 100% over budget to go down this road? And that would be just for strategic planning, and the parks plan, that wouldn't incorporate any Michigan Municipal League know your lane training or visioning or things like that. And I know a lot of that would also come through the strategic planning process, but if there is any additional training, because that was part of the outcome that was listed for some of the work as the strategic plan. So it just, I guess, depends how quickly we would want to do any governance training or kind of city operations training as a result of that. So that's
another. And I was also concerned about the cost as well, looking at that. Another, I guess it's a question I have, maybe you can answer me, well, I don't know, but is this something where, since Manick and Smith, just asking so I know, since they only submitted the Parks Master Plan, because I do believe that Carrie Smith asked this question as well, is this something where we could do the strategic piece with somebody else, strategic plan, but and if that were to happen, and only do the parks with Manick and Smith, obviously, but take out those other pieces with another group and pick the citywide strategic plan?
I would think so, because they priced them out separately. So I think that would be an option, but we have to call and find out for sure. But.
Does anyone remember 5 years ago when we did the previous parks plan? Michelle, I'm gonna ask you, maybe Nathan.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did that in-house.
We did it in-house,
It was
didn't we?
Matt, Brett, and myself that put it together.
Yeah,
Because we were in a time crunch to get it done in order to be able to apply for grants like
Correct.
we are now.
like we are now. So in order, our time crunch is like February 1st, something, I know it's in February 27. And several of the organizations reference that they understand that there's a need for quickness in our parks plan. So I would be in favor of separating it out. We did get the proposals 2 months ago. Obviously, a lot's happened in the last 2 months since, well, a lot's happened. So we are a little bit farther behind. But we need to be fiscally responsible too. And Michelle, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is this something we could really do in-house for a lot less? And if you don't want to answer, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to answer.
I mean, it'd be more of a Matt question because he kind of carries the heavy load. I just help with the logistics. So.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. I didn't see you.
I was trying to hide.
Yeah. I had no idea you were sitting back there.
It is something that we could certainly look into. Obviously, I think we actually have a bigger time crunch this time around than we did last time. It would just take a lot of late nights at the office with the three of us that we have. That plan was put in place, and it was a very basic plan. It wasn't very far in depth, but we did meet the needs required by MDNR to complete the grant. I think our goal this time around was to really dive deeper into the Parks and Rec plan. I keep hearing that we want to build our recreation department back up and build our parks to become better. I think the last time it was just kind of a stay afloat plan. So my thought process this time around was to really dive deeper into that realm and see what we could get.
Wasn't it too last time because we were trying to get some grants and we couldn't get them if we didn't have a parks
That's
plan?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
what I was thinking.
That's why we have to be submitted by, I think it's
Yep.
February 11th or so.
Man, I'm concerned about you as a person and what you can do and, your personal life and take care of your health. Because you're already doing parks, public works, now you're gonna do the plan, and that concerns me. And I'm not saying you're not capable, I'm saying, but that's a deep concern. How thin can we stretch you before other things break and we miss cracks and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's always a concern when you take on more duties. But I will do everything that I can to make it happen if that's the way the commission decides to go.
Is there a staff recommendation? Was there review of this in terms of any of the plans, or was it just bring them in and give them to us?
We didn't review them as a group. I looked them over, and we were just kind of counting on you to really dive into it. I don't have a preference either way on any of them.
I really appreciate your honesty on putting together the last plan, because you were probably Parks Director the last time too, and put it together. So I thank you for that. That helps me formulate some decisions in my head here.
I guess going back to my previous world, I think of these proposals as architect proposals. And what we did when we received architect proposals was the staff kind of met and reviewed and talked with the each of the groups, and then came with and developed a rubric as to kind of what are the goals that the city's looking for, what the school district was looking for in terms of a construction manager, architect, and then from that had a recommendation that kind of went through, and I think we had a school board member on it, and director of facilities and finance director, those sort of things. So I don't know if that's based on what I'm hearing with our parks director saying that he's looking for a deeper dive, and is there some conversations to maybe be had as to what can be done in-house, but also to have them take us to a deeper level. And then what do we look at in terms of, you know, budget-wise?
So are you suggesting that possibly Matt and some of the staff, like, have a meeting with each of these groups to do that deeper dive and then come back with a recommendation? Is that what that was my understanding, but I just want to make sure I'm
Yeah,
understanding correctly.
and again, that becomes a lot of time invested
Yeah.
as well, so.
We're on a deadline.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that takes
That's why
up
I'm
more
asking.
time in terms of that, but it also does kind of put the experts in the room helping kind of guide what they see for us as well, based on the fact that they did it last time.
I feel comfortable splitting it and actually making a recommendation for one of the organizations to do just the parks plan, and then we can discuss the strategic plan for the city at a later date.
That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Get the parks going and to do the strategic plan for the city at a later date.
Just, you know, we took the finance report off the consent agenda, and I was looking for the finance report to find out, are we over budget? Were we under budget? Do we have extra money? And that might be the key to the question that could get answered here. If all of a sudden we find out that we had the savings we didn't expect last year, could we actually hire somebody today to get this started? That we're under the time crunch. That's why I asked for the finance to be taken.
And that might be, I think, that they don't know yet on the final, I mean, we'll ask Nathan Owen when we get to that one, but from my understanding, they don't have the final bottom line yet. But that is a thought, that might be a little bit of that extra money, because, yeah.
Well, I asked for that, I think, 3 to 4 weeks ago, if we could find out how much we were saving. And if we could get that number, I don't think we've gotten that yet.
And I would just say that's the difference between last year's budget, and then there is funds that are budgeted for this year for this to take place. So there's $50,000 that's budgeted for this year. Now, again, like you say, depending on where that is based on last year, then
My thing is, all of a sudden, we found out we had $1 million that we didn't think we were gonna have from last year's budget. This would be an easy, find one, get it, yes, we're done.
If I may add, the parks and master plan can come out of general fund and fee estate, so we can pay for that portion of it out of those budgets, and that will not affect the $50,000 that was allotted for the strategic plan.
So we can take it out of fee even though it's not beautification? Because
No,
it's gonna,
it's part of the Parks and Rec master plan, so parks is beautification and recreation, so we can split it 50/50.
oh, so half of it could come,
So
Back.
I have budgeted in contract services for Parks General to cover half of the Parks master plan, and then I can take the other half out of the fee estate.
so we're really just looking then at the contracted services, that the line item is 50,000, and we're looking at that for strategic plan, city plan.
That's correct.
Okay. That changes a lot, thank you very much. So, are we still wanting to split it? Are we still wanting to, like, where's everybody feeling the most comfortable when you're looking at the strategic plan and you're looking at the parks plan? I mean, I have my thought, but I want to hear what everybody says.
yeah, I guess I like the idea if there is movement with the parks plan to do that, and then maybe we can take a little bit more time, not a ton related to strategic plan.
For maybe like the next meeting?
I don't want to say that because I'm not sure how the rest of the staff in terms of the ability to turn that out on top of a water project and everything else between now and the next meeting. So maybe not the next meeting.
I think from what Matt just said, I think we should go with half of it now, get it done, get it started, so we meet our deadline, and then we can decide at a later date what we're gonna do with the strategic plan.
I might feel comfortable with that.
I agree. So, where are we thinking for that parks plan?
I make a motion that we hire Manic to complete the parks plan.
A second.
Any more discussion? I will say that that is where I was, I can't make a motion anyways, but that is where I was definitely leaning, especially because of just their familiarity with it, and they can get right into it and get it going immediately, and they know the parks really well, and we have so many that are locals that can really contribute to that and have great knowledge of it, and have even used our parks, so.
Yeah, so if we're going to lean heavily into buying things locally, let's support a local business that's right downtown.
So I'm going to reread the resolution since it got changed. Resolution R26-069 is from administration. It is a resolution to select Manick & Smith for the parks planning services. And I have a motion from Commissioner Roberts with a second from Commissioner Cheshire. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire?
Yes.
Mayor Heath?
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts? Yes. Commissioner Zeit?
Yes.
Commissioner Banky?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution CR 26-116 is from Finance. It is a resolution to approve fourth quarter budget amendments. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
Are there any commissioner comments or discussion on this?
Just, I'd like to know where we're at with the budget in a clean and simple way.
Nathan, are you good to come up? Thanks.
Good evening. So as the mayor said, we're just getting into the audit process. We don't have finalized financial statements, but preliminary general fund is, I assume, what you're asking about. There's expenditures have exceeded revenues by about 500,000, so there's definitely not a surplus that you're looking for.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or?
I did notice that our marijuana tax was quite a bit lower than what we anticipated. And so that's a couple $100,000 if I remember correctly. So we might want to look at amending our current budget if our marijuana tax is going to be lower.
Is that because
Again.
of loss of business? Do you know? Because I noticed that as well and wondered.
I'm guessing it's partly because of Ohio coming into play, and
The state just being saturated with.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. So unfortunately, we're not getting nearly as much marijuana money, so.
Even our
yeah.
last state revenue sharing payment came in quite a bit lower.
Yes, that too. So, yeah, our revenue from the state has come in several $100,000 lower than anticipated. So it's not that we're overspending necessarily, it's what we anticipated as revenue is lower.
It's underperforming, yep.
Well, if we're looking at
Underperform.
$500,000 that you said, and we take $300,000 from the marijuana tax, we have a budget issue that we've got to find a solution to balance our budget.
If that starts going down significantly.
Yeah. Because isn't there the new law with marijuana tax, they expect another decrease from getting the revenue, so it's going to be less as we go forward?
Because more is going to be shared with road funds and,
Yes. Thank you.
welcome.
And I think now with the sale of the fee house, that also sets, at least for this current budget year, what was budgeted and what we know will be coming in. So that's another significant reduction in terms of, the trifecta of property sales, marijuana tax, and state revenue sharing.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Nathan, just a quick question. Can we invest in lottery tickets? It's like 100 million or something. No, I'm just kidding. I am just kidding.
We have a motion from Commissioner Roberts with a second from Commissioner Zeit. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cheshire?
Yes.
Mayor Heath?
Yes?
Commissioner Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Zeit?
Yes.
Commissioner Banky?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Motion carried.
CR 26-122 is from administration. It is a resolution to approve the proposed agreement with Madison Township for interim building official and construction code inspection services, and to authorize the mayor, acting city administrator, and city clerk to execute the agreement. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
Are there any comments or questions on this resolution?
Is there any expectation for the length?
No, we've got the building official job posted, we just haven't got a lot of action on it. So this is just a precautionary measure, so we have somebody available if we need it. Our staff is doing a great job keeping up with things. With the home rehab grant, we needed somebody to do some inspections, so we were running kind of thin, so we figured we'd try to get their inspector on board. But in the meantime, Glenn has really stepped up and done a lot of these inspections for us. He's doing a phenomenal job. So this is just going to be as interim as needed basis to use their official.
Thank you, and thanks for Glenn for stepping up.
We have a motion from Commissioner Cheshire with a second from Commissioner Roberts. Roll call, please.
Mayor Heath?
Yes?
Commissioner Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Zeit?
Yes.
Commissioner Banky?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire?
Yes.
Motion carried.
CR 26-123 is from Engineering Services. It is a resolution to approve the purchase of a Toro lawnmower. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
Are there any commissioner comments or discussion on this resolution?
Since this was discussed at length, can we just get the brief summary how we finally got to the conclusion?
Originally, we were going to go with a Sourcewell quote. Then a local dealer said that they could do a better price, but it was waiving the bid process. The mower that they quoted was not the correct mower. So we decided, we did get a price from them for the correct mower, but we did not publicize that. In fact, I don't even know if more than 2 people saw that price. So we just decided, for the sanctity of the bid process, let's just rebid it. So that's what we did, and in this case, the local dealer came in within the local preference policy, and it was.
But I just wanted to make sure that it was clear how we got to this point.
Just so everyone's clear, it still is $4,000 more than the lower bid. So we are spending $4,000 more to go with a business that's in the city of Adrian.
You know, I think
It was a different mower.
That's a different mower. That other bid, those other bids that were lower were a different mower. They weren't theirs.
So it wasn't a correct mower? The ones that are on the spreadsheet there?
Yeah, no, they're not. There was only a couple, and the local was right in the middle.
so it's $465 price difference, because there were only 3 companies that bid on the proper mower, and none of them in Lenawee County, I believe.
Right.
And that's where I agree with Commissioner Roberts. It's good that if we can get it close and a good bid from somebody that's a business taxpaying, that's a good thing to have.
We have a motion from Commissioner Cheshire with a second from Commissioner Banky. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Zeit?
Yes.
Commissioner Banky?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheshire?
Yes.
Mayor Heath?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Commissioners, there are miscellaneous reports in your packet. Are there any questions or comments on those? All right, at this time, we will have general public comment. It does not have to be anything that was on the agenda tonight, but we will start inside the city chambers first. Just to reiterate, there is a 3-minute time limit, and for the record, please state your first and last name and your place of residence. When we've exhausted all public comment inside the chambers, we will then open it up to the Zoom participants.
Hi, Michelle Taylor. I am a resident of Adrian. Again, on the ordinance number 26004. I don't know why it disappeared and it's not on today's agenda. That is absorbing and it's creating a bond. That means it's 1.6 million over. I sent you guys a letter. Mayor Heath, you said that you did receive it. And 1.6 million needs to come off for that bond. It's excessive. And I would like to address about, if I understand correctly, Todd Brown, MSD, was awarded. Is that correct, for the strategic parks plan? Okay, ridiculous. MSG, they have gotten so much love from the city, it's unreal. And your contracts are absolutely, okay, this is over the top and beyond ridiculous. I don't know what he has on you guys, but it has been a long time that he's been getting a lot of grant money, a lot of funding money with consulting. Back April 4th, 2025, he brought forward with a J. Marks, just a random grant that MEDC, the SSRP, we still can't locate where the monies came from. I guess hearing from, and I did review the parks plan, and after 5 years, it can be reviewed and then can just be, like they said, like Matt and Michelle, they did do a wonderful job. And to revamp that internally makes sense. To outsource this at $25,000 or up is absolutely a price gouge. It's ridiculous. The foundation's there. The authors can grow it. They're proven out. Parks and Recreation today has consistently proven to be solid. We have this physical proof with our beautiful parks. MSG, I'm concerned. I want to see, and I'm going to request all the documentation. I will FOIA it because at this point, between McKenna and MSG, they're being awarded a lot of contracts, third party, where a lot of money is just going out and we're never reaping any benefit. It's just ongoing, continuous. I don't know, they're just reviewing or whatever. MSD was on this project for the water sewer that's 1.6 million above. So what are we doing? So I say no. No, 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 no. No. Thank you. No.
Hi, Jacob Cooper, 33 South Scott Street. I also own a local consulting firm called Great Lakes Strategic, and we do consulting for municipalities as well as nonprofit entities. I wanted to thank the commission tonight for making the decision to press pause on the strategic plan and reevaluate that, and also thank you for awarding the Parks Plan bid to the Mannequin Smith Group. I don't know Todd very well, but I've had the chance to see him and work with him adjacently on various city projects. And I know Mannequin Smith does a lot of work with the city, and the dollars seem high, but if you go through the invoices of everything we're paying to Mannequin Smith, they're doing a tremendous amount of work for the city, and a tremendous amount of work that the city likely couldn't afford to pay engineers in-house to handle. So I understand the previous speaker's comments about the contracts and the amounts, but they are a good local firm doing good local work, and I thank the commission for their decision tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Nancy O'Connor, City of Adrian. I was really hoping that Commissioner Cheshire would have responded to my email so that I didn't have to get up and speak on this concern that I have. But in the last meeting, you spoke and said that you received 7 emails in support of Commissioner Binky and 3 phone calls. So I listened to that a couple of times to make sure that I had that right. So being as curious as I am, I did a FOIA asking who was opposed and who was in support of Commissioner Binky. I did that last week. I got 3. Only one was to you only, and that was from Diane Rouser, who owns Sauce, in support of Commissioner Binky. And she also gave a recommendation to appoint who she thought you should appoint for Commissioner Binky's open seat if he is selected to be the next interim city administrator. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe there were emails that came in after in support of Commissioner Binky interposing. So I requested another one through today, and I got that late. So, and if I'm wrong on this, I will be the first one who will publicly apologize to you. But I have counted, you said there were 7, and I have counted a total of 4, because the emails and things that the FOIA that I received tonight, one person did a group email for all of you and then did singly, so I tried to go through those, but what I've got right now is 4, and that's including 9 browsers. That may be trivial to some, but that's not 7. And it's concerning to me because when stuff starts happening like this, especially with some of the commission and the chatter that goes on and things that are said to the public and behind people's backs, then you start losing public trust. And that's a real big one for me. So like I said, Michelle told me she would go through these again tomorrow to see if there were more. And if that's the case and they're in D7, I will publicly apologize to you.
Don Taylor, a resident of the city of Adrian. I think we need to talk about something fun now. These last few meetings have been a little down, haven't they? Well, I'm here to invite all of you, to the 19th Annual Artlicious Fine Arts Fair, September 19th and 20th. In 2011, we did this year, and at that time we moved from being with the LCBA into the Lenawee Community Foundation. It's a really good move for us and very helpful, good partners for us. I also somehow got talked into being a chairperson at that year, and I'm proud to say I'm no longer the chairperson, but our new chair is Valerie Hurd, the executive director of the Adrian Center for the Arts. She and I worked together over the last couple of years. She's delightful. She's doing a great job, and I'm still involved. Having fun, don't have to put up with some of the headaches, but anyway, join us because it will be a good time. We have a little different play on setup this year. We're going down the middle of the street with all of our tents. Now that's a little risky, but we're going to be offset a little bit so fire trucks can go by. But we have some logistics to work on, but I think it's going to be a great way. And the second thing is we're merging our nonprofits and our artists all together. It will no longer be a nonprofit road. They'll be interspersed with the artists. They like that idea, and but we're actually, because of the new layout, we're full. Doesn't mean we have as many as we used to have, but we're full. So we're hoping, if we have a few cancellations, we got some folks that can fill in. It should be fun. It always is. It's a lot of hard work, but I expect to see all of you there. I know Commissioner Binky will be there. Commissioner Zeich will be there for 24 hours both days working, and Mary, you're always there too. So anyway, delighted to speak to you. Delighted to not have to be the chair again this year. But come see us on the 19th and 20th. It'll be a good time for sure.
Don, your wife did a big cheer back there when you said you're no longer the chair. I just want you to be very aware of that.
So what?
Your wife did a big cheer back there that you are no longer the chair of Artlicious.
Well, I mean, I'm cheering for you. I'm surprised that they didn't throw me out years ago.
Hello, my name is Ernest Thomas, United States citizen. For one, I don't believe that the city ordinance of not being in the park at the hours is okay. I believe those signs should be taken down because people that are homeless, they can't help it. And I brought this up several times that it's a waste of money, waste people's time, locking innocent people up for sleeping in wooded areas sidewalks, they can't help it. They get kicked out of Shed Warm just like that. I seen it happen. I was there when a few people got kicked out for itty bitty stuff. So they can't help it. So I don't believe that it should be a city ordinance of no camping. I believe it should be allowed. And number two, it should be better lighting or divider from the hospital all the way back to town for those who don't have transportation from the hospital back into the city limits. So I believe it should be a safe discussion, whatever, about separating the streets from the side of the road so that it won't be an accident waiting to happen. Because right now, from the hospital into the city, there's no lights. Barely any street lights. So that's my concern for those who have to walk back into town from the hospital. And number three is the parks. Once again, no, hold on, we talked about that. The sidewalks, it's ridiculous. It's a safety hazard for those who walk the sidewalks at night. The sidewalks, it's horrible. It needs to be fixed. Also, the recreation, the people that deal with flowers, they need better landscapers. Because it's not about watering plants. It's about picking weeds, watering them, and whatnot. These landscapers, they go by with a gator, water. Okay, that's good. Have at it. No, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of people's time. And for the people that pick up the trash from local trash cans, they need to not park on the sidewalk. That's it.
Lenawee, City of Adrian. I'll have to echo Don's good news, because I've worked off and on with Ardelicious. A couple years in a row, I was pies, gopher. I won't go into all that, what that entailed. But anyways, I shared with our lead person with Ardelicious. The city of Sylvania does right down the middle of the street. They have a lovely, I should have worn my earrings that I bought it there. And it gave the local businesses still remained open because we have some folks who just got a little bent out of shape and they closed specifically on Ardelicious just because. So I just really think this is a good plan. And also, I really felt nonprofit role, we were kind of like shunned, like, so Carol and I will be out there for League of Women Voters. Early voting starts October 24th, right? General elections, November the 3rd. So your vote, your voice.
Hello. Kevin Putnam, Detective Sergeant with Adrian PD and also City of Adrian resident. So I want to inform all you guys that on September 3rd at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. we're going to be hosting a scam awareness and prevention seminar in here for open to the public. I forwarded all that information to all your guys' emails. I know got a couple responses, such as good about should you in your travels in the community find anyone you think might benefit from that, please share it so they can come. Thank you.
Kevin?
Yes.
Are you going to have any flyers or anything available for that? Because I'm good friends with people and chamber ambassadors with a lot of people who work at the local credit unions and banks. And I just had this conversation last Friday at the chamber golf outing, the amount of scams that are happening for the elderly specifically. I just wonder if we can get a couple of flyers made and we could take them around to the credit unions and banks.
Yeah, I can make one that's a little more printer friendly than the one that I made that's full of color, and then I can send that to you guys' email so we're not wasting all of our money printing.
All right, that would be great. Yes, thanks.
Thank you.
We will now turn it over to the Zoom participants. Hearing no public comment, are there any commissioner comments?
Just, Don, I think you forgot lifelong learning came out as well. So if you haven't seen that, there's a great selection of courses that are being offered through Lenawee Lifelong Learning. Maybe that's your tease for coming back next week or next meeting to talk as well. But great selections that are taking place there as well. And just to echo what Detective Putnam said as one of his investigatees, because my credit card was stolen, used in North Dakota, South Carolina, somewhere in a Walmart to buy gift cards and then send them to Africa. I appreciate the tenacity that he had with the follow-up through that process. So anyone who can help and learn how to fight back is greatly appreciated to show up to that session.
Just a chamber update on Tuesday, September 1st at 8 o'clock right here in City Chambers. I will be hosting the Breakfast Club. So any chamber members, if there's anyone in the room, would love to have you join us for breakfast that morning. If you are not a chamber member but would like to join, I think it's $5, if I remember correctly, and you can sign up on the Greater Lenawee County Chamber or Greater Lenawee Chamber of Commerce website. I'm also partnering with Mr. Cooper over there, who's providing the breakfast for that morning. But Michelle and Kate are going to be putting together a slideshow about the city that I'll be presenting that morning. So anyone's welcome. Just sign up on the chamber website. Thank you.
I would just like to remind everyone that we will have an influx in our population starting this weekend. Adrian College returns, so we will have the students coming back. So just wanted to put that out there. We are very excited to have students back in our midst and at our downtown events and in our restaurants and all around town. So just please welcome them back. We're very excited for that. I also want to point out that it is someone's 100th birthday. It's an organization, the Adrian Garden Club, and they are having a special event tomorrow that I will be going and presenting a proclamation to them for their 100th year. And the Adrian Garden Club does a lot of things around town that you may not realize, and they have their plant sale, and they do all these great things. I know that you take care of the gardens over by the Lenawee Historical Society, that's really beautiful this year. It really cleaned up nice. But if you're in the room and you are part of the Adrian Garden Club, can you stand up so you can be recognized? Because I know you're here and you're just trying to be